Hello there! Today we'll be presenting Solasta, Crown of the Magister's latest edition, the Dungeon Maker. What you're seeing in this video is a prototype version which is still under construction, so keep in mind that the final version will probably look quite a bit different. The Dungeon Maker is a brand new tool that will allow our community to create their own adventures and share them with other players. Using the in-game editor, you'll be able to easily make your very own dungeons with different rooms, traps, monsters, treasures, and even connect them with other dungeons to form mega dungeons if you so desire. Making a dungeon using the tool is actually very simple. You first input the general information, the dungeon's name, its description, and the name of its creator. And after this, you can set what type of environment you want for your dungeon, and that will impact the visual of the rooms, walls, and floors, as well as what decoration will be available to you. Note that only the necropolis will be available at first. We plan to add more environments in the future, but we also want to make sure that we properly wrap up our main campaign before that. You will also be able to set the maximum size of the map and the visual mood of the dungeon, which will impact the lighting, volumetric fog, and color grading of your level. Lastly, you will also be able to select the music track that will play during exploration. Once you're done with that, it's time to start building the dungeon. You will be able to choose from a list of rooms, either empty or furnished, and place them as you desire on the grid. Each room needs to be connected to another via an opening, which is represented here by a white line, but other than that, you're free to make whatever you want. Now, an empty dungeon wouldn't really be a fun experience, would it? That's where our gadgets come in. Using the gadgets, you'll be able to add life to your creation. Monsters, treasure chests, traps, hidden doors, lore text, resting areas, everything is here. Note that in order to keep our dungeons simple to share, you will only be able to use existing content from Solasta. That means you won't be able to use your own homebrew items or monsters inside the Dungeon Maker, although there's no telling what talented modders will be able to do in the future. That aside, you will have access to most of the Solastan bestiary and items. Gadgets will also allow you to link multiple dungeons together via a system of entrance and exit areas. So if you feel like the map is too small for you, simply link it to another one. You can also collaborate with other players over the net to pull multiple maps together and create a mega dungeon. Creating dungeons is not only about putting a few monsters between two doors and calling it a day. You will also have access to a large number of props to decorate your dungeon and shape the battlefield. Walls to block off certain entrances, debris to prevent movement, wall torches or candelabra to add some much needed light, low walls to provide cover, as well as a selection of structures and ornaments depending on the environment selected at the beginning. For instance, in the necropolis environment, you will have access to small mausoleums, tombs, statues, chains, broken columns and the like. We are very happy to present you the Dungeon Maker tool, as we have always wanted to provide modding tools to the community. So far, we were unable to commit to it because the tools would either be too complex to use, or it would take too much time for us to make. Instead, we've decided to start small and grow from there. The Dungeon Maker will be in a beta state when Solasta launches later this year, and will feature an experience mostly similar to board games at first. We plan to improve it post-launch by adding more features, such as other environments, but also more options like adding a quest system, merchants, and ways to export your characters after completing a dungeon to use them in another user-generated campaign later. We hope you're as excited as we are to try out the Dungeon Maker, and we can't wait to see what fantastic adventures you will create. See you around! Walls and floors, as well as what decoration will be available.